Hey guys, today I want to share something that has been super helpful in my content creation journey. For some of the most recent videos here, I have been using a very minimal video setup. There are many mobile video solutions out there, but I was looking for something very specific. For the last 2 months, I was in China visiting family, and I wanted to continue making some of this content without carrying my usual camera equipment. Even though I'm back home now and I plan to go back to my usual setup here, I am still recording all of this video and audio directly into an iPhone just to show you how this setup is pretty decent quality wise. My requirements were simple: being able to shoot in log format at 24 frames per second, which I use for this kind of videos. Another thing is that I wanted to capture everything externally. I also wanted to avoid special iPhone cases or cages, some of those setups that end up looking bigger than some real cameras. Oh, and something very important for me is that I wanted to keep my phone's back free for MagSafe accessories. I got a very handy MagSafe tripod that also works as sort of a selfie stick, and I also have this ND filter adapter that I got from Amazon. All I had to do was remove this extra piece that came with it, and it fit the iPhone case I already had without issues. I already had an ND filter lying around, so I could screw that in. This also has a magnet in the back, which allows me to mount the whole thing on the tripod. The ND filter is only for those cases I am shooting outside or with very bright lighting conditions. I actually upgraded from my iPhone 14 Pro to the 16 Pro last year while planning all of this. Not for the AI features, but for the log video capability. This is something that I have heard about since the release of the iPhone 15, but only now I have the perfect excuse to get a new phone for this. Shooting in log makes a big difference. It's the perfect way to avoid that iPhone over sharpened or HDR look. At the heart of my setup is this USB-C hub. After a lot of research, I found this one designed specifically for phones. It has two USB-C ports and one USB-A port, plus a micro SD slot that I never really use. Both USB-C ports can be used for data transfer, but one of them can also be used to charge your device. Here in the back, I added this kind of Velcro, which is not really necessary, but it helps with the overall stability once I add my SSD, as you will see later. For storage, I have been using two different solutions. The first one is this small Samsung USB-C flash drive. This is the most compact solution, but it also has some limitations. Mainly with this one, you will not be able to shoot in 60 frames per second because it doesn't have the same speeds as an SSD. It's still great for 24 frames per second in ProRes or H.265, but again, you'll still need to transfer your files to another drive that can handle the editing. The best of this option, of course, is the size. One thing that I keep around is several of these USB-C adapters. They are super handy. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that you should try to get the ones that allow high transfer speeds. And you should be careful when stacking them one on top of the other because this will also affect the speed, especially for storage. So with one of these, I can plug my flash drive like this so that it's not coming out on the right side. Then I got my Bluetooth mic receiver and I can do the same with that. For this device, I do not need high transfer speeds, so I like to use it on the USB-A port. I just use this other USB-C to USB-A adapter. As you can see, I can still plug this to the back of my phone and got the MagSafe area free to mount any accessories. This may be the ideal solution for filming yourself while talking and moving around. The second storage solution and the one that I've been using the most is the Crucial X9 Pro SSD. This one works great for 60 frames per second without any issues because it's fast enough. For that, you can plug it directly to the phone without the hub in between. I still add one extra angled adapter to leave the back totally free for accessories. I told you to be careful when stacking these adapters, but in this case, and specifically without the extra hub in between, I haven't had any issues. But here's one thing I have to mention. Whenever you want to capture audio and video at the same time with a hub that I showed you before, well, you lose some power and there's not enough juice to keep the SSD running. So you'll need to use that extra USB-C port that I mentioned before to be charging your device at the same time that you are shooting. Let's put this together. I got my USB-C hub. I plug in my microphone as before. Now I will plug my power cable, and finally I got my SSD. Now here's the thing. In this setup, I got the hub in between, which takes some power, so I should be careful not to use more than one adapter between this and my SSD. I've tried this kind, which works great and keeps everything flush, but then I won't be able to fit my ND filter if I need. So what I've done is simply add this tape that I showed you before on the back of my SSD, and that way I got my hub together with my drive, and I can use a small Thunderbolt cable to connect both of them. It looks a bit funny, but maybe this is still within the limits of what I wanted on regards to a minimal setup. In my specific case, since I am mostly shooting on a desk without moving around, I've still been using this option the most because I love that I can finish shooting and I can plug the drive to my computer and jump right into editing. There's no need to transfer any files. By the way, the microphone I've been using and what you're listening right now is the Holyland Lark M2. It's super small and it delivers great quality. So in summary, if I want to be shooting 24 frames per second with my Bluetooth microphone and walking around, I'll go with a Samsung flash drive and a USB-C hub. If I want to be shooting slow motion, 60 frames per second or higher without microphone, then I'll be with the SSD drive alone, without the hub. If I need the microphone and I want the most flexibility in terms of storage, and if I do not mind being plugged into power, then I'll go with the SSD and the hub. I think this is particularly great for use cases that do not require moving around. All options have the MagSafe area free for accessories, like the ones that I showed you. By the way, I have to mention that I have been using the Blackmagic camera app instead of the default camera app. Usually you will find amazing paid apps and then some free alternatives with limited functionality, but it's crazy because with the Blackmagic camera app, it's the opposite. It's completely free and it outperforms many paid options. It's been amazing so far. To be honest, there's so many videos and reviews on similar setups online, but for something this small and this flexible, especially in regards to being able to capture both video and audio from a Bluetooth mic directly to my external storage while keeping the MagSafe area free, well, there's not so many options out there. There's the Lexar Go setup, which also seems pretty awesome, but for me, outside of America, it gets quite expensive with import taxes and all that, so I was happy to figure this out. Before I wrap up, I want to mention that there's a whole other side to all of this involving post-production, how to handle the log footage in Final Cut Pro, or how to use external video together with Screen Studio that I use for screen recordings. So if you're interested about that, let me know in the comments and I can share more about it. There you have it, guys. A minimal, flexible video setup that doesn't break the bank, but still delivers professional quality results. If you have any questions about specific components or want to know about any part of this, feel free to ask. Don't forget, you can always follow on my newsletter for more updates on what I'm up to. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.